Being the eighth section in Liber, Primus, the first volume of the Red Book, entitled Splitting of the Spirit. Splitting of the Spirit. But on the fourth night I cried, to journey to hell means to become hell oneself. It is all frightfully muddled and interwoven. On this desert path there is not just glowing sand, but also horrible, tangled, invisible beings who live in the desert. I didn't know this. The way is only apparently clear. The desert is only apparently empty. It seems inhabited by magical beings who murderously attach themselves to me and daimonically change my form. I've evidently taken on a completely monstrous form in which I can no longer recognize myself. It seems to me that I have become a monstrous animal form for which I've exchanged my humanity. This way is surrounded by hellish magic. Invisible nooses have been thrown over me and ensnare me. But the spirit of the depths approached me and said, "Climb down into your depths, sink." But I was indignant at him and said, "How can I sink? I am unable to do this myself." Then the Spirit spoke words to me that appeared ridiculous, and he said, "Sit yourself down, be calm." But I cried out indignantly, "How frightful! It sounds like nonsense. Do you also demand this of me? You overthrew the mighty gods who mean the most to us. My soul, where are you? Have I entrusted myself to a stupid animal? Do I stagger like a drunkard to the grave? Do I stammer stupidities like a lunatic? Is this your way, my soul? The blood boils in me, and I would strangle you if I could seize you. You weave the thickest darknesses, and I am like a madman caught in your net. But I yearn, teach me. But my soul spoke to me, saying, My path is light. Yet I indignantly answered, Do you call light what we men call the worst darkness? Do you call day night? To this my soul spoke a word that roused my anger. My light is not of this world. I cried, I know of no other world. My light is not of this world. I cried, I know of no other world. The soul answered, Should it not exist because you know nothing of it? I, but our knowledge, does our knowledge also not hold good for you? What is it going to be if not knowledge? Where is security? Where is solid ground? Where is light? Your darkness is not only darker than night, but bottomless as well. If it's not going to be knowledge, then perhaps it will do without speech and words too. My soul, no words. I, forgive me, perhaps I'm hard of hearing, perhaps I misinterpret you, perhaps I ensnare myself in self-deceit and monkey business, and I am a rascal grinning at myself in a mirror, a fool in my own madhouse. Perhaps you stumble over my folly. My soul, you do not deceive my soul. You delude yourself. You do not deceive me. Your words are lies to you, not me. I, but could I wallow in raging nonsense and hatch absurdity and perverse monotony? My soul, who gives you thoughts and words? Do you make them? Are you not my serf, a recipient who lies at my door and picks up my alms? And you dare think that what you devise and speak could be nonsense? Don't you know yet that it comes from me and belongs to me? So I cried, full of anger. But then my indignation must also come from you, and in me you are indignant against yourself. My soul then spoke the ambiguous words, That is civil war. Black Book 2 continues, Are you neurotic? Are we neurotic? I was afflicted with pain and rage, and I answered back, How painful, my soul, to hear you use hollow words. I feel sick, comedy and drivel, but I yearn. I can also crawl through mud and the most despised banality. I can also eat dust. That is part of hell. I do not yield. I am defiant. You can go on devising torments, spider-legged monsters, ridiculous, hideous, frightful, theatrical spectacles. Come close. I am ready. Ready, my soul, you who are a devil, to wrestle with you too. You donned the mask of a god, and I worship you. Now you wear the mask of a devil, a frightful one, the mask of the banal, of eternal mediocrity. Only one favor. Give me a moment to step back and consider. Is the struggle with this mask worthwhile? Was the mask of God worth worshipping? I cannot do it. The lust for battle burns in my limbs. No, I cannot leave the battlefield defeated. I want to seize you, crush you, monkey, buffoon. Woe if the struggle is unequal. My hands grab at air. But your blows are also air, and I perceive trickery. I find myself again on the desert path. It was a desert vision, a vision of the solitary who has wandered down long roads. There lurk invisible robbers and assassins and shooters of poison darts. Suppose the murderous arrow is sticking in my heart. As the first vision had predicted to me, the assassin appeared from the depths, and came to me just as in the fate of the peoples of his time, a nameless one appeared and levelled the murder weapon at the prince. This refers to the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, which initiated the First World War. I felt myself transformed into a rapacious beast. My heart glowered in rage against the high and beloved, against my prince and hero, just as the nameless one of the people, driven by greed for murder, lunged at his dear prince. Because I carried the murder in me, I foresaw it. My friends, if you knew what depths of the future you carry inside you, those who look into their own depths, look at what is to come. Because I carried the war in me, I foresaw it. I felt betrayed and lied to by my king. Why did I feel this way? He was not as I had wished him to be. He was other than I expected. He should be the king in my sense, not in his sense. He should be what I called ideal. My soul appeared to me hollow, tasteless, and meaningless. But in reality, what I thought of her was valid for my ideal. But in reality, what I thought of her was valid for my ideal. It was a vision of the desert. I struggled with mirror images of myself. It was a civil war in me. I myself was the murderer and the murdered. The deadly arrow was stuck in my heart, and I did not know what it meant. My thoughts were murder and the fear of death, which spread like poison everywhere in my body. And thus was the fate of the people. The murder of one was the poisonous arrow that flew into the hearts of men and kindled the fiercest war. The murder of one was the poisonous arrow that flew into the hearts of men and kindled the fiercest war. This murder is the indignation of incapacity against will. This murder is the indignation of incapacity against will. A Judas betrayal that one would like someone else to have committed. But just as Judas is a necessary link in the chain of the work of redemption, so is our Judas betrayal of the hero also a necessary passageway to redemption. We are still seeking the goat that should bear our sin. That's referring to Leviticus. We'll also see Leviticus 16, 7 to 10, which reads, "And he shall take the two goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats, one lot for the Lord and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness." And in italics, indicating a change in speaker and change in form of speech or manner of speech. Everything that becomes too old becomes evil. The same is true of your highest. Learn from the suffering of the crucified God that one can also betray and crucify a God, namely the God of the old year. If a God ceases being the way of life, he must fall secretly. This is what the ancients taught us. The god becomes sick if he oversteps the height of the zenith. That is why the spirit of the depths took me, when the spirit of this time had led me to the summit. Those who wander in the desert experience everything that belongs to the desert. The ancients have described this to us. From them we can learn. Open the ancient books and learn what will come to you in solitude. Everything will be given to you, and you will be spared nothing, the mercy and the torment. Being, I believe, section 8 of Liber Primus, first volume in the Red Book, entitled Splitting of the Spirit.